The black Mercedes G-Wagon pulls up to the apartment complex at 6:47 a.m., and Kareem Hassan freezes mid-step, his daughter Amira's hand tight in his. The building superintendent, Mrs. Chen, stops watering her plants. The bodega owner across the street lowers his newspaper. Even the pigeons seem to pause. 3 men in charcoal suits step out. The lead one, 6'3", silver temples, Patek Philippe gleaming, scans the cracked sidewalk, the rusted fire escape, the graffitied mailboxes. His eyes land on Kareem. Mr. Hassan? Kareem's heart hammers. His grip on Amira tightens. This is it, he thinks. They found out. They're coming for what I did. 48 hours ago, he made a choice. One split-second decision on a rain-soaked Manhattan street that broke every rule he'd lived by for the past 8 years. And now, standing in his $19 Walmart sneakers and his daughter's hand sticky with grape jelly from breakfast, Kareem faces the consequences. The man in the suit reaches into his jacket. 2 o'clock. Set up 3 days earlier. Monday, 4:32 a.m. The alarm clock screams. Kareem's hand shoots out from under the threadbare comforter, muscle memory from 8 years of the same routine. He silences it before the second beep, before it can wake Amira in the next room. The apartment is dark, quiet, cold in that way only New York apartments get in November, when the radiator clangs and hisses but produces more noise than heat. He sits up slowly. His back aches. 41 years old, and it feels like 60 some mornings. The floor is ice against his bare feet as he pads to the bathroom, careful to avoid the creaky board outside Amira's door. The mirror shows a man who looks older than his years, deep-set brown eyes with permanent shadows underneath. Salt and pepper beard he keeps neat because it's free to maintain, unlike haircuts. The scar above his left eyebrow, a souvenir from Aleppo, from a life that feels like it belonged to someone else. He splashes water on his face. Cold. Always cold because hot water costs money. Fajr first, he reminds himself. The prayer rug is worn thin in the center where his forehead touches. He spreads it facing east, toward Mecca, toward a home he'll never see again. The pre-dawn prayer grounds him, reminds him who he is beneath the exhaustion. Allahu Akbar, he whispers. For 6 minutes, the world narrows to this. His forehead on worn fabric, his whispered Arabic, the presence of something larger than bills and broken radiators, and the constant weight of survival. When he finishes, dawn is bleeding gray light through the window. 4:53 a.m., 7 minutes to get Amira's lunch ready before his first shift. The kitchen is a narrow galley, chipped laminate counters, a stove with 2 working burners, a refrigerator that hums like it's perpetually annoyed. Kareem moves through it like a choreographed dance. Bread from the discount bin at Key Food, peanut butter, the last of the strawberry jelly. He cuts the sandwich into triangles because Amira says they taste better that way. An apple, a juice box, 5 pretzels in a plastic baggie because the box is empty and he won't have money for more until Friday. He writes the note on the brown paper bag in careful English. Have a great day, Habibti. Love, Baba. English. Always English now. Amira barely speaks Arabic anymore, and the guilt of that sits in his chest like a stone. 5:14 a.m. The subway isn't crowded yet. Just the other ghosts of the early morning, the cleaners and bakers and security guards who keep the city running while everyone else sleeps. Kareem's first job is at Lexington Tower, a glass and steel monument to wealth in Midtown. He's one of 4 night janitors who become invisible day janitors at 6 a.m., when the building transitions from sleeping to waking. His supervisor, Ray Martinez, nods when Kareem clocks in. 3rd floor needs extra attention, Ray says, not looking up from his clipboard. Some banker's kid threw up in the conference room. Yes, sir. Kareem grabs his cart, the one with the squeaky left wheel that needs WD-40 they'll never buy, and heads for the service elevator. The 3rd floor is silent at 5:47 a.m. floor-to-ceiling windows overlook Manhattan. The city painted in pre-dawn blue and gold. On a clear day, you can see all the way to the Empire State Building. Kareem used to notice the view. Now he notices the coffee stains on the carpet, the fingerprints on the glass, the trash bins that need emptying. The conference room smells like vodka and regret. Someone tried to clean the vomit with printer paper and gave up. Kareem breathes through his mouth, pulls on latex gloves, gets to work. This is the part of his life no one sees, the part that doesn't fit the narrative people prefer, the grateful refugee, the success story, the integrated immigrant. This is the reality. Cleaning up the literal shit of people who make in an hour what he makes in 3 months. His phone buzzes in his pocket. 6:23 a.m. Reminder. Amira's parent-teacher conference Thursday 3 p.m. He stares at it. Thursday. His shift at the hospital starts at 2 p.m., and Mrs. Kapoor, the after-school program director, explicitly said these conferences are mandatory. He'll figure it out. He always does. By 8:45 a.m., the building is flooding with people. The finance bros in their Canada Goose jackets, the tech startup employees with their hoodies and AirPods, the administrative assistants in heels that click on marble like metronomes. They flow around Kareem like water around a stone. He's in his gray jumpsuit with maintenance embroidered on the back, pushing his squeaky cart, and to them, he's furniture. Useful furniture that empties their trash and keeps their toilets clean, but furniture nonetheless. "Excuse me," a woman says, not looking at him, her phone pressed to her ear. She's mid-20s, Lululemon leggings, Starbucks cup with a name spelled wrong. She steps around his cart like it's a traffic cone. Kareem moves aside. "Sorry." She doesn't hear him. She's already 10 feet away, laughing into her phone about brunch plans. 9:30 a.m. Kareem's first shift ends. He clocks out, takes the subway 30 blocks north to Presbyterian Hospital. His second job is in the hospital cafeteria. He wipes down tables, refills napkin dispensers, empties trash bins that smell like anxiety and overcooked vegetables. The fluorescent lights hum constantly, giving everyone a slightly cadaverous tint. He works alongside Maria, a Dominican grandmother who's been doing this for 16 years. "You look tired, mi amor," she says, handing him a spray bottle of disinfectant. "I'm okay." "You're always okay." She shakes her head. "When's the last time you weren't okay?" Kareem manages a smile. 2011. She doesn't laugh. She was working here when he first arrived in New York, when his English was broken and his hands shook whenever someone spoke too loudly. She knows. "Your daughter," Maria says quietly. "She's good?" "She's perfect. Then you eat." Maria pulls a container from her bag. Arroz con pollo, still warm. "Don't argue, you're too skinny and I made too much." Kareem wants to refuse. Pride says refuse, but he worked through breakfast and his stomach is eating itself, so he takes it. "Thank you. Thank me by taking a day off sometime." They both know he won't. The hospital shift ends at 2 p.m. Kareem takes the subway back downtown, walks 4 blocks to PS 142, arrives at exactly 2:47 p.m. The after-school program is in the gymnasium. 23 kids between 6 and 10, organized chaos supervised by Mrs. Kapoor and 2 college volunteers. Amira spots him immediately. She's 8 years old, all knees and elbows and energy, her dark hair in the 2 braids he learned to do from a YouTube video 6 years ago. She's wearing the purple sweater from the Goodwill bins, the one with the small hole in the left sleeve she doesn't know he hasn't fixed yet. "Baba!" She crashes into him, a missile of pure joy. He catches her, lifts her up even though his back protests. She smells like crayons and playground wood chips and everything good in his life. "How was school, Habibti?" "I got an A on my spelling test, and Mrs. Kapoor said I'm the best reader in the group, and Tommy said his dad is taking him to Disney World for Thanksgiving, and I said that's cool, but we have our own fun, right, Baba?" Kareem's heart clenches. "Right. We have the best fun." "Can we go to the library?" "Not today. I have my evening shift." Her face falls, just for a second, before she forces brightness back. 8 years old and already learning to hide disappointment. "That's okay. Can we play the question game on the way home? Of course. They walk hand in hand through Chinatown, past shops selling jade and dried fish, past restaurants where the smell of garlic and ginger makes Kareem's mouth water. The question game is simple. Amira asks questions. Kareem answers. It started when she was 4, when she first began asking about Syria, about her mother, about why they live differently than her classmates. Baba, why do you work 3 jobs? Honest answer, because I have to. Because your medication costs $340 per month, and insurance covers 70%, and that remaining $102 is the difference between you being healthy or not. Because rent is $1,450, and they raised it last year, and if we leave this apartment, we'll end up in a shelter. Because I love you more than I love sleep or pride, or the engineering degree I earned in Damascus that's worthless here. The answer he gives, because I want to give you the best life possible, Habibti. But you're tired all the time. I'm not tired when I'm with you. She squeezes his hand. She's too perceptive, this daughter of his, too aware of the weight he carries. They stop at home long enough for Kareem to change into his 3rd uniform, black pants, white shirt, clip-on black tie. His evening job is at Stella Notte, an Italian restaurant in the West Village where entrees cost more than his daily grocery budget. He's a food runner, not a waiter. His English is good but not perfect, and the manager, Vincent, prefers his front-of-house staff to be polished. So Kareem runs food from kitchen to table, clears plates, refills water glasses, exists in the margins. Table 12, 2 carbonara, 1 branzino, 1 risotto, the expediter shouts. Kareem loads his tray, balances it perfectly, a skill he's mastered through sheer repetition, and weaves through the dining room. Table 12 is a couple in their 60s, anniversary dinner, judging by the champagne and the way they're holding hands across the table. They don't look at Kareem when he sets down their plates. They're absorbed in each other, in their own joy, and he's fine with that. Invisibility has its advantages. By the time his shift ends at 11 p.m., his feet are screaming and his shoulders are locked in knots. He takes the subway home in a daze, the car half empty, fluorescent lights flickering overhead. The apartment is quiet. Mrs. Chen from downstairs is watching Amira. $15 a night, money he hates spending but has no choice about. She did her homework, ate dinner, watched 1 show, Mrs. Chen reports, gathering her knitting. She's a good girl, Kareem. Thank you, Mrs. Chen. He pays her in cash, the bills worn soft from circulation. Amira is asleep in her twin bed, her stuffed rabbit, Mr. Carrots, a Salvation Army find from when she was 3, tucked under her chin. Her spelling test, the one with the red A+ at the top, is taped to the wall above her pillow. Kareem sits on the edge of her bed, brushes hair from her forehead. She stirs. Baba? I'm here, Habibti. Go back to sleep. Did you eat dinner? The question pierces him. 8 years old and worried about whether he ate. Yes, don't worry about me. I love you, Baba. I love you more than all the stars, Habibti. She smiles in the darkness, already drifting back to sleep. Kareem sits there for a long moment, watching her breathe. This is what it's all for. Every early morning, every aching muscle, every moment of invisible servitude. This sleeping child who deserves a better world than he can currently give her. He finally stands, turns off her nightlight, closes the door softly. It's 11:47 p.m. He has to be up in 4.5 hours. He doesn't bother changing out of his work clothes. He just falls into bed, closes his eyes, and lets exhaustion take him under. 10 o'clock, the incident. Wednesday afternoon, 4:17 p.m. The rain starts without warning. Kareem is between shifts, a rare 40-minute window between the hospital cafeteria and the restaurant. He uses it to walk Amira home from the after-school program, to squeeze in 15 minutes of homework help before Mrs. Chen arrives. They're 2 blocks from home when the sky opens up. Run, Habibti! They sprint, but it's futile. By the time they reach their building, they're soaked. Amira is laughing, her braids dripping, her purple sweater dark with water. Kareem can't help but laugh too, even as his phone buzzes with the reminder that he's due at the restaurant in 32 minutes. "Wait here," he tells Amira, unlocking their apartment door. "Change into dry clothes, okay? Mrs. Chen will be here in 10 minutes. "Where are you going?" "I forgot something at the store. 2 minutes, I promise." He lies. He didn't forget anything. But the bodega on the corner sells umbrellas for $8, and if he doesn't buy one now, they'll both be soaked walking to school tomorrow morning, and Amira can't afford to get sick. Her asthma medication is expensive enough without adding a cold on top of it. He runs back out into the rain. The streets are chaos. Taxis honk, pedestrians huddle under scaffolding, street vendors scramble to cover their goods. Kareem navigates it on autopilot, his mind already calculating. Umbrella $8, leaving $43 until Friday, which means no meat this week, pasta and eggs, maybe some reduced-price vegetables from the Sunday market. The scream cuts through the rain, high-pitched, terrified, young. Kareem's head snaps up. Across the street, in the narrow alley between a dry cleaner and a boutique, a girl is backed against a brick wall. She's maybe 16, 17, wearing a Dalton Academy uniform, the expensive private school on the Upper East Side. Her designer backpack is on the ground. A man in a black hoodie has her phone in one hand, his other hand raised. "Give me the wallet!" The girl is frozen, paralyzed. No one else stops. A dozen people hurry past, heads down, umbrellas up, committed to the New York survival strategy. Not my problem. Kareem's feet move before his brain catches up. "Hey!" His voice is loud enough to carry over the rain. The man in the hoodie spins. Kareem crosses the street, his heart jackhammering. This is stupid. This is dangerous. He has a daughter at home, 3 jobs he can't afford to lose, a body that's already held together with exhaustion and stubbornness. But that girl's face, the terror in it, is every nightmare he has about Amira. "Leave her alone," Kareem says in English, forcing his voice steady. The man is younger than he thought, early 20s maybe, jumpy eyes, track marks on his forearm, the desperation of someone who needs money for something chemical. "Fuck off, old man. Just leave her, please." The man steps toward Kareem, his knife suddenly visible. It's small, a pocket knife, but knives don't need to be big to kill you. Kareem knows this from experience. "You want to be a hero? I'll cut you." The girl is crying silently, her back pressed to the bricks. Kareem raises his hands, palms out, non-threatening. His Arabic is useless here. His engineering degree is useless. His pride is useless. All he has is his body between this girl and this knife. "You don't want to do this," Kareem says quietly. "Please. She's a child. So give me your wallet and I'll leave." Kareem's wallet contains $43, his Metro card, his library card, and the picture of Amira from her first day of kindergarten. It's everything he has until Friday. He reaches into his pocket slowly, pulls out the wallet, holds it out. "Take it, just go." The man snatches it, backpedals. "Phone too." Kareem hands over his phone. It's a $60 Android from 3 years ago, cracked screen, dying battery, but it's his lifeline to Amira, to his jobs, to Mrs. Chen. The man pockets both, then turns and runs, splashing through puddles, gone in seconds. Kareem stands there, rain plastering his hair to his skull, his work shirt soaked through. The girl is shaking, sobbing. Her mascara runs in black streams down her face. "Are you okay?" Kareem asks. She nods, can't speak. "Did he hurt you?" She shakes her head. "What's your name?" Sophie. "Sophie, I need you to call someone, your parents, the police. Can you do that?" She nods again, fumbling in her blazer pocket for her phone with trembling hands. "Good. You're safe now. It's going to be okay." "He took your..." She gasps, fresh tears coming. "He took your wallet, your phone. Because of me..." "No." Kareem puts a hand on her shoulder, gentle. Not because of you. You did nothing wrong. Do you understand? Nothing. She stares at him like he's spoken a foreign language. Behind her, a black town car screeches to a stop at the alley entrance. A woman in a Burberry trench coat bursts out, followed by a driver. Sophie! The woman rushes forward, grabs Sophie, pulls her into a crushing embrace. She's mid-40s, polished in that way only money can buy. Highlighted hair, manicured nails, jewelry that costs more than Kareem's annual income. Oh my God, baby, are you okay? What happened? Marcus called and said. Sophie is crying into her mother's shoulder, words tumbling out between sobs. The woman's eyes land on Kareem over her daughter's head. He's standing there awkwardly, soaked, empty-handed, suddenly aware of how he must look. Brown-skinned, foreign, hovering near her daughter in an alley. Who are you? The woman's voice is sharp, suspicious. Kareem gestures vaguely. There was a man. He was trying to rob her. I made sure she was safe. He gave the guy his wallet. Sophie pulls back from her mother, her face urgent. And his phone. He gave him everything so the guy would leave me alone. The woman's expression shifts. Suspicion melting into shock, then something else. Gratitude? Guilt? You stopped someone from robbing my daughter? I just stayed with her until you came. Marcus! The woman turns to the driver. Call the police, now! No, Kareem says quickly. No police, please. I'm fine. She's fine. That's what matters. But your wallet? I have to go. Kareem checks his wrist where a watch would be if he owned one. I'm late for work. Wait! The woman reaches into her bag, pulls out her own wallet. Please, let me give you something. To replace what you lost. It's the least... No, thank you. But no. I insist. Please. Kareem takes a step back. I'm just glad she's safe. He turns to Sophie. You're very brave. Remember that. Then he walks away, back into the rain, before they can stop him. His hands are shaking. Adrenaline is draining out of his system, leaving him hollow and cold. He has no wallet, no phone, no way to call Mrs. Chen, no way to tell Amira he'll be late, no way to call the restaurant to explain why he's not there yet. But a teenage girl is safe. And somehow, that has to be enough. He makes it to the restaurant 18 minutes late. Vincent is furious. This is unacceptable, Hassan. I know, I'm sorry. There was an emergency. I don't care if there was a meteor strike. We have standards. It won't happen again. Vincent stares at him, clearly weighing whether to fire him on the spot. Kareem holds his breath. One more time and you're done. Understood. Yes, sir. Kareem works his shift in a fog. His mind keeps replaying the alley, the knife, the girl's terrified face. When he gets home at 11:23 p.m., Mrs. Chen is annoyed. You didn't call, I was worried. I lost my phone. I'm so sorry. He pays her with money he doesn't have, borrowed from the emergency envelope in his closet marked Amira's medicine. Amira is already asleep. He doesn't wake her. He just sits on his own bed in the dark, staring at nothing, wondering how he's going to replace $43 and a phone before Friday. His last thought before exhaustion takes him. At least she's safe. 1500, the morning after. Thursday morning begins the same. 4:32. A.M. prayer, Amira's lunch, the subway. Except today there's a hollow feeling in his pocket where his phone should be. No alarm except the ancient clock. No way to check the time on the train. No connection to the world. At Lexington Tower, Ray notices. You okay, Hassan? You look rough. Rough day yesterday. Well, shake it off. VIP client on 42 needs the executive suite spotless by 8 a.m. Some CEO doing a big meeting. Kareem nods, grabs his cart. The 42nd floor is all glass and power. Corner offices with views that cost more per square foot than most people make in a year. The executive suite is at the end. A conference room with a table that seats 20, a marble wet bar, original art on the walls. Kareem cleans methodically, dusts, vacuums, Windex on every surface until it gleams. At 7:47 a.m., he's finishing when the door opens. A woman walks in. She's in her mid-40s wearing a steel gray suit that probably costs more than his rent. Her hair in a sharp bob, her heels clicking on marble with authority. Behind her, looking small and nervous, is Sophie. Kareem freezes. Sophie's eyes go wide. "Mom, that's him!" The woman stops mid-stride. She stares at Kareem, recognition dawning. "You?" She crosses the room in 4 strides. "You're the man from yesterday, the one who helped Sophie." Kareem grips his spray bottle, suddenly aware of the power dynamic. She's in a $3,000 suit in an executive suite, and he's in a gray jumpsuit with a squeaky cart. Yes, that was me. "Marcus and I spent 2 hours trying to find you last night. Sophie couldn't remember which direction you went. We had the driver circling blocks. I'm sorry, I had to get to work." "Don't apologize." The woman's voice is firm. "I'm the one who should apologize. I tried to give you money yesterday and you refused, but I didn't understand the situation. Sophie told me you gave that man everything you had." Kareem shifts uncomfortably. "It's fine, really." "It's not fine." She turns to Sophie. "Tell him." Sophie steps forward, her hands wringing. She looks so much younger in daylight, so much more fragile. "I couldn't sleep last night. I kept thinking about how you gave him your phone and your money. Mom said you probably needed them, that most people would have just walked by like everyone else did. Anyone would have done the same." "No," the woman says flatly. "They wouldn't have. I've lived in this city for 23 years. I know exactly how many people would have walked by." She extends her hand. "I'm Victoria Ashford. I'm the CEO of Ashford Pharmaceuticals." Kareem shakes her hand awkwardly. "Kareem Hassan." "Mr. Hassan, I would like to repay you for what you lost." "That's not necessary." "It's very necessary. You lost money and a phone protecting my daughter. Please allow me to replace them." There's something in her tone, not pity but respect, that makes Kareem hesitate. He thinks of the $43, of the envelope in his closet getting emptier. The phone was old, maybe $60, and the cash was $43. $103, Victoria says. "Plus you were late to work because of the incident. Did you lose wages?" No, it's fine." "Mr. Hassan." Her gaze is direct. "I'm a mother. Sophie is my only child. If something had happened to her," her voice catches just for a second, "I can never truly repay what you did, but I can at least make sure you're not financially worse off for having helped her." Kareem looks at Sophie. She's staring at him with red-rimmed eyes still shaken from yesterday. "Okay," he says quietly. "Thank you." Victoria pulls out her phone, taps something. "What's your number? I'll Venmo you." "I don't have Venmo." She looks surprised, then thoughtful. "Cash, then." "Sophie, Marcus is downstairs with the car. Ask him for—" She hesitates. "500. "That's too much." "Mr. Hassan, please let me do this." Sophie runs out. Victoria and Kareem stand in the conference room, an odd silence between them. "You work here?" Victoria asks. "Yes, I'm a janitor, one of 3 jobs." "3? Hospital cafeteria and a restaurant." "That's a lot." Kareem shrugs. "It's what's necessary." "Do you have family?" The question lands differently than she probably intended. Family. The word is a knife. "A daughter, Amira. She's 8. "Just the 2 of you?" "Yes." Victoria's expression shifts again. Understanding, maybe, or kinship. Before she can respond, Sophie returns, breathless, holding an envelope. "Here." Victoria hands it to Kareem. It's thick, too thick. "This is more than $500. Then consider the extra an apology for assuming the worst of you yesterday in that alley. And Victoria pauses. If you ever need anything, please call me. She hands him a business card, embossed with silver lettering. I mean it. Anything. Kareem takes the card, the envelope, feeling distinctly off balance. Thank you, really. No, Mr. Hassan, thank you. They leave, mother and daughter, their heels clicking in sync down the hallway. Kareem stands alone in the gleaming conference room, holding an envelope of cash and a business card, feeling like he's stepped into a parallel universe. He counts the money later in the supply closet. $700. He stands there for a long moment staring at it. $700 is Amira's medication for 2 months. It's new sneakers for her because hers are getting too small. It's the field trip to the Natural History Museum she asked about, and he said they'd see. It's also from a world he doesn't belong to, given by a woman who probably makes more in an hour than he makes in a month. He tucks the money into his wallet, his replacement wallet bought this morning from a bodega for $3. 25:00, the shift. The business card stays in his pocket for 3 days. He doesn't know why he keeps it. He has no intention of calling Victoria Ashford. Their worlds intersected for one moment, and now they're separate again, as they should be. But Sunday afternoon, when Amira develops a fever and her inhaler isn't enough, when her breathing gets tight and scary and he carries her 6 blocks to the emergency room because he can't afford an ambulance, the card is there. The ER waiting room is purgatory. Fluorescent lights, plastic chairs bolted to the floor, a TV playing the news on mute. Amira is in his lap, wheezing softly, her head on his chest. Registration, a nurse calls. Kareem carries Amira to the desk. The nurse is efficient, bored, clicking through a computer system that's probably older than Amira. Insurance? Medicaid. ID. He shows his card, Amira's card. She'll be seen when a bed opens up. Could be a few hours. She can't breathe well. I understand, sir, but unless it's life-threatening, we have to go by triage order. Kareem wants to scream. He wants to flip the desk. He wants to explain that his daughter's lungs are fragile, that every wheeze is a countdown, that hours could mean pneumonia or worse. But he just says, okay, thank you. They wait. 1 hour, 2. Amira's breathing gets worse. She's not panicking. She's been through this before. But her lips are getting pale, her fingers cold. Kareem prays, silent Arabic against her hair. Please, please, please. At hour 3, his panic overrides his pride. He pulls out Victoria Ashford's business card. His replacement phone, a $40 burner from Target bought with the envelope money, has barely any minutes on it. But he dials anyway. It rings 4 times. He's about to hang up when she answers. Victoria Ashford. Ms. Ashford, this is Kareem Hassan. We met last week. I helped your daughter. Mr. Hassan, of course, I remember. Is everything all right? I'm sorry to call. I know you said if I needed anything, but I'm not asking for money. His voice cracks. My daughter is in the emergency room. She has asthma, she's having an attack, and we've been waiting 3 hours, and I don't know if you know anyone here or if there's anything. Which hospital? Presbyterian. I'm on the board. Her voice is sharp, focused. What's your daughter's name? Amira Hassan. Stay on the line. He hears muffled conversation, the sound of typing. Mr. Hassan? Yes? A doctor will be with Amira in less than 10 minutes. They're preparing a room now. How did you... I called the director. It's done. Is there anything else she needs? Kareem's throat closes. No, thank you. I don't know how to thank you. You already did. Last Wednesday in an alley. We're even. She hangs up. 8 minutes later, a nurse calls, Amira Hassan? With urgency, and they're ushered into a private room where a pulmonologist is already waiting. Amira gets a nebulizer, steroids, oxygen. Her breathing eases. Color returns to her cheeks. Within an hour, she's well enough to watch cartoons on the hospital TV. Kareem sits beside her bed, holding her small hand, and cries quietly. When they're discharged, Kareem finds the nurse who admitted them. "How much do I owe?" She checks the system, frowns. It says here the bill's been covered. What? Emergency room visit, nebulizer treatments, medications, pulmonologist consult, all marked as paid by a... She squints. "Victoria Ashford. Is that your insurance?" "No, that's..." He stops. There's no explanation that makes sense. That's a friend. Some friend. That's $4,700 worth of care. Kareem leaves the hospital in a daze, Amira's hand in his, her breathing finally easy. 35:00, the connection. Monday morning, Kareem's phone rings. The burner, the one that never rings because no one has this number except his employers and Mrs. Chen. "Hello? Mr. Hassan, it's Victoria Ashford. I hope I'm not calling too early?" "No, I'm awake. It's 5:47 a.m. He's always awake. How is Amira?" "Much better. Thanks to you. Ms. Ashford, the hospital bill is not something you need to worry about. I told you if you needed anything. Amira's health qualifies. I can't accept..." "Mr. Hassan, please. I'm not trying to offend you, but you saved my daughter. Let me help yours." Kareem sits on his bed, words failing him. Victoria continues, her tone shifting. "I've been thinking. You mentioned working 3 jobs. That's not sustainable, especially with a daughter who has medical needs." "It's what I have to do." "What if there was another option?" "I don't understand." "I have a proposition. My company needs a facilities manager for our headquarters building. It's a salaried position, $62,000 annually, full benefits including premium health care. I'd like to offer it to you." Kareem's heart stops. "Ms. Ashford, I'm a janitor. I don't have facilities management experience." "You have 8 years of building maintenance experience across multiple sites. You're reliable, trustworthy, and clearly resourceful. That's what I need. The rest can be learned." "Why would you do this?" "Because you're overqualified for what you're currently doing, and I'm a good judge of character. Also because my facilities manager just gave notice, and I need someone who actually cares about their work. Do you care about your work, Mr. Hassan?" "Yes." "Then take the job. Interview is a formality, just so HR is happy. Can you come by on Wednesday at 10 a.m.? Kareem's mind is racing. $62,000, health care, 1 job instead of 3, time with Amira, morning drop-offs at school instead of rushed goodbyes at 4:32 a.m. It's too much, too good. There has to be a catch. I need to think about it." "Of course. But Mr. Hassan, don't overthink it. Sometimes good things happen to good people. That's allowed." She hangs up. Kareem sits in the dark staring at his phone. Amira appears in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. "Baba, who are you talking to?" "A friend, Habibti. Go back to sleep." "Are you okay?" He looks at his daughter, his entire world in 8-year-old form, and realizes he's crying. "Yes, Habibti, I think I'm very okay." 40 minutes, the reveal. Wednesday, 9:47 a.m. Kareem stands outside Ashford Pharmaceuticals headquarters in Midtown. It's a glass tower, 30 stories of wealth and power. The lobby has actual trees growing inside, a waterfall feature, marble that gleams like ice. He's wearing the only suit he owns. Bought from Goodwill 6 years ago for a job interview he didn't get. It's slightly too big. The tie is clip-on. His shoes are the same $19 Walmart sneakers, but he polished them until they almost pass. The security guard checks his ID, makes a call, hands him a visitor badge. 42nd floor, Ms. Ashford's office. The elevator is glass-walled. Kareem watches Manhattan shrink below him, his stomach in knots. The 42nd floor is executive territory, assistants in designer clothes, offices with mahogany desks, art that belongs in museums. Victoria's assistant, a young man with perfect hair and a sharper suit than Kareem's entire wardrobe, greets him warmly. "Mr. Hassan, Ms. Ashford is finishing a call. Can I get you coffee? Water?" "Water is fine, thank you." He sits in the waiting area, his palms sweating. Through the glass walls, he can see Victoria in her office, pacing as she talks on a headset, gesturing emphatically. She spots him, waves, holds up 5 fingers. 7 minutes later, her assistant shows him in. "Mr. Hassan!" Victoria shakes his hand firmly. Her office is enormous, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park, a desk the size of his kitchen, family photos on the credenza showing Sophie at various ages. "Miss Ashford." "Please, call me Victoria. Sit." He sits. The chair is leather, ergonomic, probably costs more than his couch. "How's Amira?" "Good, fully recovered." "Excellent. And Sophie wanted me to tell you she aced her chemistry midterm. She says she was too shaken to study before the incident, but after, well, she found motivation." "I'm glad." Victoria sits across from him, not behind her desk. Equal footing. Intentional. "I want to be transparent about something," she says. "This position is real. It's not charity. I genuinely need a facilities manager, and I genuinely think you're qualified, but I also want you to understand what working here means." "Okay." Ashford Pharmaceuticals develops treatments for rare diseases, specifically pediatric conditions. My company exists because when Sophie was 6, she was diagnosed with a mitochondrial disorder that no one could treat. I was a patent lawyer at the time, married to a hedge fund manager living in Connecticut. I could have accepted the diagnosis. Instead, I liquidated assets, divorced my husband when he called it throwing money at false hope, and started this company. Kareem listens, understanding dawning. We developed a treatment. It saved Sophie's life. Now we develop treatments for other families who get the same devastating news I got. So everyone who works here, from me to the lab techs to the facilities manager, is working toward that mission, keeping sick children alive. Can you handle that? Yes, even when it's hard, when you're fixing a broken HVAC system at 2 a.m., because if our lab refrigeration fails, 2 years of research is destroyed, and 20 kids waiting for a trial lose their chance? Yes. Victoria studies him. Why? Because my daughter has asthma. It's not mitochondrial disease, but I know what it's like to watch your child struggle to breathe, to feel helpless. If I can help make sure other parents don't feel that way, then yes, I can handle it. Victoria smiles, genuine, warm. You're hired. Technically, we need to do a formal interview with HR, but that's a formality. When can you start? I need to give notice at my current jobs. 2 weeks? 1 should be enough. Perfect. Salary is $62,000. Benefits start immediately. Vacation is 3 weeks annually. 401k match, gym membership, and... She slides a folder across. This is the policy manual. Read it, sign where indicated, return to HR by Friday. Questions? Why me? I told you. No, I mean, really, why me? Victoria leans back. Because when I looked into your background, yes, I looked, I'm thorough. I found out you have an engineering degree from Damascus University, top of your class. You worked for 3 years at a civil engineering firm before the war. You lost everything, came here with nothing, and rebuilt a life. You work 3 jobs to support your daughter. You're overqualified for what I'm offering, and you'll bring a perspective this company needs. I haven't practiced engineering in 8 years. So, facilities management is applied engineering. You'll remember faster than you think. And Mr. Hassan? Yes. Welcome to the team. 50:00- the transformation. The first month is disorienting. Kareem goes from 18-hour days across 3 jobs to 8-hour days in 1 building. He has weekends off. Actual full weekends where he wakes up without an alarm and makes Amira pancakes, and they go to the library for hours. He has health insurance, Real health insurance that covers Amira's medication entirely. No more calculating copays, no more generic-only prescriptions, no more panic when her inhaler runs low. He has an office, small, no windows, but it's his, with a desk and a computer and a nameplate that reads, Kareem Hassan, Facilities Manager. The work is challenging. He oversees building maintenance, manages a staff of 6, coordinates with lab managers on temperature-sensitive equipment, handles emergency repairs. His engineering background comes back in pieces. The physics of HVAC systems, the chemistry of water treatment, the structural integrity of load-bearing systems. His coworkers are kind. They don't ask invasive questions about his accent or his past. They just treat him like he belongs. Meredith from HR brings him coffee on his first day. Cream and sugar, right? Victoria mentioned you take it that way. James from the lab asks his opinion on redesigning the cold storage layout. You have an engineering degree, yeah? I could use a second pair of eyes on these specs. Sophie visits sometimes, usually trailing her mother. She always lights up when she sees him. Kareem, Mom says you fixed the elevator. It was just a sensor malfunction. You're so smart, I'm going to study engineering in college like you. It's surreal. He keeps waiting for the catch, for someone to realize he doesn't belong here. But weeks turn into months, and the catch never comes. Amira thrives. Her asthma is under control. She joins the school's art club because they finally have money for the supply fee. She makes friends, has play dates, talks about birthday parties and sleepovers like a normal 8-year-old. One evening in March, 6 months after he started, Kareem is locking up his office when Victoria appears. Burning the midnight oil? Just finishing some reports, the HVAC upgrade proposals. You're very thorough. I learned from good teachers. He means the YouTube videos and engineering forums he studies after Amira goes to sleep, but Victoria doesn't need to know that. Walk with me? They go to the roof. A green space with planters and benches, accessible only to executive staff. Victoria hands him a key card. You have roof access now. You've earned it. The view is breathtaking. Manhattan spreads out in every direction, lights twinkling like stars. I wanted to thank you, Victoria says. The facilities audit came back. We're exceeding industry standards in energy efficiency, air quality, and safety protocols. The board is thrilled. I just did my job. You did more than that. She pauses. Sophie's been asking if she can intern here this summer, in your department. Kareem is surprised. She wants to work in facilities? She wants to work with you. You made an impression. Not just that day in the alley, but she sees how you treat people, how you care about the details. She says if engineers think like you do, maybe the world would be better. Kareem doesn't know what to say. I told her she could, if you're willing to have a 16-year-old shadowing you for 8 weeks. I'd be honored. They stand in comfortable silence, the city humming below. Mr. Hassan, Kareem, I need to tell you something. Okay. When I hired you, people questioned it. My CFO said I was making an emotional decision. My COO said I was being reckless. They thought I was hiring you out of guilt or obligation. Kareem tenses. They were wrong. You're the best facilities manager we've ever had. Your team respects you. Your work is impeccable. You've saved us money and improved efficiency. I didn't hire you because of what you did for Sophie. I hired you because I saw something in you that I needed in this company. What? Integrity. You gave up everything for a stranger. That kind of character doesn't come with a degree or a resume. It's who you are. She turns to him. So thank you for proving me right and for being exactly who I thought you were. 55:00, the morning of the SUV. Friday morning, 3 weeks later, Kareem and Amira are walking to school, a routine he now has time for. She's chattering about a book report, about her friend Emma's birthday party, about the science fair project they're planning. Baba, can we build a volcano? Everyone does volcanoes. But I want to do a volcano. Then we'll build the best volcano PS 142 has ever seen. She grins, swinging his hand. They're 2 blocks from their apartment when the black Mercedes G-Wagon pulls up. The superintendent stops watering plants. The bodega owner lowers his paper. The pigeons pause. 3 men in charcoal suits step out. The lead one, 6'3", silver temples, Patek Philippe gleaming, scans the cracked sidewalk, the rusted fire escape, the graffitied mailboxes. His eyes land on Kareem. Mr. Hassan? Kareem's heart hammers. His grip on Amira tightens. The man reaches into his jacket. Kareem's mind races. Victoria's competitors? Someone from his past? A mistake? A debt? Something he overlooked? The man pulls out an envelope. Mr. Kareem Hassan? Yes? I'm David Chen, attorney at Morrison & Chen. I represent Ms. Victoria Ashford. He extends the envelope. This is for you. Kareem takes it, his hands shaking slightly. What is this? I suggest you open it, sir. Amira is pressed against his leg, her eyes wide. Baba? Kareem opens the envelope. Inside is a letter on heavy cardstock, Victoria's signature at the bottom. He reads, Dear Kareem, in recognition of your exceptional work, your character, and your commitment to our mission, Ashford Pharmaceuticals is awarding you the following. 1. A merit bonus of $50,000. 2. Promotion to Director of Operations, salary $95,000 annually. 3. A company vehicle. The Mercedes G-Wagon you're currently looking at, it's yours. 4. A full scholarship fund for Amira's education, kindergarten through university, including living expenses. This is not charity. This is what you've earned. Sophie wanted to be here, but she's at school. She says to tell you this is payback for the alley. I say it's just good business. Welcome to the executive team. Victoria. Kareem reads it twice, 3 times. The words don't change. Mr. Chen is smiling. The car keys are in the envelope. Title is in your name. Miss Ashford wanted this to be a surprise. I can't. You can, and you will. Ms. Ashford was very clear on that. Mr. Chen tips his head. Congratulations, Mr. Hassan. You've earned this. The 3 men get into a second black car parked behind the Mercedes. They drive away. Kareem stands on the sidewalk, the letter in one hand, car keys in the other, his daughter pressed against him. Baba. Amira's voice is small. What does it say? He looks down at her wide eyes, her braids, her purple sweater that's finally been replaced but that she still loves, at the daughter who's been his reason for everything. It says, good things happen to good people, Habibti. Like you? Like us. Mrs. Chen approaches, her watering can forgotten. Kareem, is everything okay? He starts laughing. He can't help it. Laughter that turns into tears. Tears that turn into something too big for words. Everything is perfect, Mrs. Chen. Everything is perfect. 60:00 - the conversation. That evening, after Amira is asleep, in her own room in their new apartment, a 2-bedroom they're moving into next month, paid for by his promotion, Kareem calls Victoria. I saw the car, she says before he can speak. How'd it look? Victoria, this is too much. It's not. A car, a scholarship, the promotion is deserved. Kareem, listen to me. In the 6 months you've been here, you've reduced our operational costs by 18%. You've improved energy efficiency to the point where we're getting sustainability awards. Your team has 0 turnover. 0 in an industry where facilities staff quits every 8 months on average. You've earned every penny of this. But the scholarship for Amira is selfish on my part. I'm investing in her future because I have a feeling she's going to do extraordinary things, and I want Ashford Pharmaceuticals' name attached to that. It's good PR. Kareem laughs despite himself. You're impossible. I'm practical. And Kareem, Sophie wants to talk to you. There's rustling, then Sophie's voice. Kareem? Hi, Sophie. Did you cry when you saw the car? Maybe a little. Good. Mom cried when she bought it. She said if you refused it, she was going to drive it to your apartment and leave it there with the keys in the ignition. That sounds like your mother. Kareem. Her voice gets quieter. I think about that day a lot. In the alley. I was so scared and you just appeared like a superhero. I'm not a superhero, Sophie. You are to me, and Mom agrees. She says people who do good things without expecting anything back are the rarest kind of people. She says you restored her faith in humanity. I just did what anyone should do. But they didn't. Everyone else walked by. You stopped. That matters. Kareem swallows the lump in his throat. You matter, Sophie. You and your mom both. We're family now, right? That's what Mom says. That you're family. Yes, Kareem says softly. We're family. They talk for another 10 minutes. Sophie gushing about her internship plans, about how she's going to learn everything about facilities management, about her college applications and her dreams. When they hang up, Kareem sits in his dark apartment, staring at the car keys on his coffee table. From Syria to New York, from engineer to refugee to janitor to facilities, manager to director, from 3 jobs and broken shoes to a Mercedes and a future. He thinks about that rainy afternoon, the split-second decision to cross a street toward danger instead of away from it, how one moment can change everything. 65:00-The Gala. 6 months later, November. Ashford Pharmaceuticals is hosting a charity gala at the Plaza Hotel, a black-tie fundraiser for pediatric research. Kareem almost didn't come. He doesn't own a tuxedo, doesn't belong in ballrooms with champagne fountains and ice sculptures, but Victoria insisted. Your executive team now. You come to these things. Plus, Sophie specifically requested your presence. So here he is in a rented tux that actually fits, standing in the Plaza's grand ballroom among Manhattan's elite. The room is spectacular. Crystal chandeliers, gold leaf on the ceiling, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park dusted with early snow. 500 people in designer gowns and bespoke suits, drinking cocktails that cost more than his old daily wage. He spots Sophie across the room. She's 17 now, confident, radiant in a midnight blue gown. She's talking to a group of donors, gesturing animatedly, every bit her mother's daughter. She sees him, excuses herself, weaves through the crowd. You came! I was strongly encouraged. By Mom? She can be scary. Terrifying. Sophie laughs. Come on, I want you to meet someone. She drags him to a corner where an older man stands. 70s, white beard, kind eyes. He's talking to Victoria. Kareem! Victoria greets him warmly. Perfect timing. This is Dr. Paul Hendricks. He's the head of pediatric pulmonology at Columbia. Dr. Hendricks shakes his hand. Mr. Hassan, Victoria tells me your daughter has asthma. Yes, sir. She's doing much better now. I'm glad. Victoria also tells me you were instrumental in redesigning our lab ventilation systems. I just implemented some improvements. He's modest, Victoria interjects. His redesign is being studied as a model for pharmaceutical facilities nationwide. Dr. Hendricks nods appreciatively. We need more engineers who understand the intersection of healthcare and infrastructure. Have you ever considered consulting? No. You should. I'd hire you immediately to redesign our hospital systems. They talk for 20 minutes. Technical discussions about air filtration, humidity control, contamination prevention. Kareem's old engineering knowledge comes alive, his hands gesturing as he explains concepts. When Dr. Hendricks excuses himself to greet other guests, Victoria leans in. See? You belong here. I feel like an imposter. Everyone does at their first gala. By your 5th, you'll be bored. She squeezes his arm. Enjoy it, Kareem. You've earned this. Later, after dinner, a 5-course meal Kareem barely touches because he's too nervous, Victoria takes the stage. The room quiets. Good evening. For those who don't know me, I'm Victoria Ashford, CEO of Ashford Pharmaceuticals. 14 years ago, my daughter Sophie was diagnosed with a disease that had no cure. Tonight, she's standing in the back of this room, healthy and thriving, because we refuse to accept impossible. Applause. Sophie waves, embarrassed. This company exists to make impossible possible for families facing the same nightmare I faced. We've developed treatments for 17 rare pediatric conditions. We have 12 more in trials. We're not stopping until every child has a chance. More applause. But tonight I want to tell you a different story. A story about a man who saved my daughter's life in a way that had nothing to do with medicine. Kareem's stomach drops. 7 months ago, Sophie was attacked. A stranger intervened. He gave up his money, his phone, everything he had to protect her. He could have walked by like everyone else. He didn't. The room is silent now, attentive. That man is here tonight. Kareem Hassan, our Director of Operations. Kareem, please stand. Kareem freezes. Sophie is waving at him from across the room, grinning. Victoria is looking at him expectantly. Slowly he stands. The ballroom erupts in applause, 500 people clapping for him, for a split-second decision in an alley 7 months ago. Kareem came to this country with nothing, Victoria continues. He rebuilt his life from zero. He worked 3 jobs to support his daughter, and when he saw someone in danger, he didn't hesitate. That's the kind of character we need in this world. That's the kind of person I want on my team. The applause intensifies. So tonight I'm announcing the Kareem Hassan Scholarship Fund, a program that will provide full educational support for refugee children in New York City. Because if we can invest in one person and see the returns we've seen with Kareem, imagine what's possible if we invest in 100. Kareem's vision blurs. He's crying in front of 500 strangers, and he doesn't care. Victoria raises her glass to Kareem and to every unsung hero who chooses kindness over convenience. To Kareem, the room echoes. 70:00-the resolution. Later that night, after the gala, Kareem drives home in his Mercedes, still surreal, even after 6 months. Amira is awake when he arrives, despite the late hour. Mrs. Chen is on the couch, watching a Korean drama. She refused to sleep until you got home, Mrs. Chen says, gathering her things. Said she needed to hear about the party. Thank you, Mrs. Chen. Amira is in her pajamas, bouncing with energy. Did you wear the tuxedo? Did you dance? Did you eat fancy food? Yes, no, and a little. Tell me everything. He carries her to her room. She's getting too big for this, but she still lets him, and tucks her in. There were chandeliers the size of cars, he begins, and ice sculptures shaped like swans, and your Baba gave a speech. You gave a speech. No, I just stood up, but Ms. Victoria talked about me. What did she say? She said that helping people matters, that small choices can change lives. Like when you helped Sophie? Yes, like that. Amira is quiet for a moment, her fingers tracing patterns on her comforter. Baba? Yes, Habibti. Are we rich now? The question catches him off guard. We're comfortable. Emma's mom says you got a big promotion and that we're moving to a new apartment with 2 bathrooms. That's true. Does that mean you're not tired anymore? And there it is, the question beneath the question, the fear she's carried for years. Kareem lies down beside her, wraps an arm around his daughter. I'm still tired sometimes, but it's a good tired now, not a scared tired. What's the difference? Scared tired is when you work all the time because you're afraid of what happens if you stop. Good tired is when you work because you love what you do. Do you love what you do? Yes, very much. Because of Ms. Victoria? Because of you. Everything I do is because of you. She burrows into his chest, her voice muffled. I'm glad that man tried to rob Sophie. Amira. Not the scary part, but If he didn't, we wouldn't have met Ms. Victoria, and you'd still be working 3 jobs, and I'd still worry about you all the time. Kareem kisses the top of her head. You know what I learned, Habibti? What? That good things come from hard things sometimes. That doing the right thing isn't always rewarded immediately, but eventually, the universe pays attention. Do you believe that? Really? He thinks about the alley, the rain, the choice to cross the street instead of walk by, how that single moment rippled into everything that came after. Yes, he says, I believe it. They lie there in comfortable silence until her breathing evens out, sleep taking her under. Kareem stays for a long time, watching his daughter dream, thinking about the journey that brought them here. From Aleppo to Turkey to a refugee camp to New York, from engineer to laborer to janitor to director, from surviving to living. He thinks about the business card in his wallet. Victoria's card, the one he almost didn't call. The phone call that saved Amira's life, that led to a job, that led to a future. He thinks about Sophie, 17 and thriving, planning to study engineering. About Victoria, who saw past his janitor's uniform to the person underneath. About Dr. Hendricks, offering consulting work. About the scholarship fund bearing his name that will help other families rebuild their lives. One decision, one moment of choosing courage over safety. That's all it took. Kareem finally stands, tucks the blanket around Amira, turns on her nightlight. In the kitchen, he brews tea, real tea, the expensive kind he can afford now, and sits at the table. His phone buzzes. A text from Victoria. You were wonderful tonight. Sophie won't stop talking about you. Thank you for being part of our family. He types back. Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible. Her response is immediate. You were never invisible. You just needed someone to look. Kareem sets down his phone, sips his tea, looks around his apartment. Tomorrow, he'll go to work at a job he loves. He'll drop Amira at school without rushing. He'll have lunch with his team, work on the new ventilation system designs, maybe call Dr. Hendricks about that consulting opportunity. Tomorrow, he'll wake up without an alarm at 4:32 a.m. He'll pray Fajr without exhaustion clouding his mind. He'll make Amira breakfast with time to spare. Tomorrow, he'll live instead of just survive. But tonight, he sits in his quiet kitchen and allows himself to feel it. All of it. The gratitude, the disbelief, the joy, the grief for the years that were so hard, the hope for the years ahead. Alhamdulillah, he whispers. Thank God. Outside, snow begins to fall on Manhattan. The city glitters and hums, indifferent to individual stories of redemption and transformation. But in this small apartment, in this moment, one story has reached its turning point. Kareem Hassan, refugee, father, engineer, janitor, director, human being, has found his way home. Not the home he lost, not Syria or Aleppo or the life he had before, but something new. Something earned through perseverance and sacrifice, and one split-second decision to help a stranger in the rain. The snow falls, Kareem drinks his tea, and for the first time in 8 years, he sleeps without fear. The end. Moral. The world moves fast. People rush past each other, eyes down, committed to their own survival. It's easy to walk by. It's safe to ignore. It's rational to protect yourself first. But sometimes, not always, not even often, but sometimes, the irrational choice is the right one. The choice to stop when everyone else walks past. The choice to give what little you have to protect someone else. The choice to be visible in a world that prefers you invisible. Those choices ripple. They echo. They change trajectories in ways you can't predict. Kareem Hassan saved a life in an alley and didn't expect anything in return. But the universe was paying attention. And when he needed help most, help arrived. Not because he deserved it, though he did. Not because the universe is fair. It rarely is. But because one woman saw his character and chose to honor it. Because one moment of courage created a chain reaction of grace. You never know whose life you're changing when you choose kindness. You never know who's watching when you do the right thing. So do it anyway. Stop anyway. Help anyway. Be the person who crosses the street toward danger instead of away from it. Because somewhere, someone is hoping you will. And maybe, just maybe, the black SUV will come for you too. Not with consequences, with blessings.